Hi, my name is Christopher Gilbreth, and I am here to tell you about my observational assignment. My observational assignment was I had to choose three live events to attend and basically report um, what I liked and disliked about those events and, you know, um, what those events meant and how I could kind of relay things that I saw in the event or things I did at the event to group communication. So the three events I went to were a basketball game, a concert, and I went to a goth club. Um, yeah, the last one was kind of weird, but it was fun for me. But starting off with the basketball game, I went to a North Park basketball game, a home game. Um, Everybody was kind of telling me, it was supposed to be a good game, and North Park, we were a decent basketball team, and I guess the other team was supposed to be pretty good, out of conference team. But we were supposed to beat them, and everybody's telling like, if this is the game you're gonna come to early in the season, before we leave for Christmas break, this is the one. So I'm gonna say, okay, I don't go to that many basketball games. I go to a few, but say, okay, um, I get dressed and I go to the game, and I wasn't expecting to be there long. I know like a lot of times when I do go, I'm only there maybe a half. Um, I don't think I've ever sat through a whole basketball game beginning to end, but Um, I get there kind of maybe at the end or halfway through the first quarter with my teammates, and we sit down. And I mean, it was pretty cool, nice, decent crowd. The your average North Park basketball crowd, kind of a mix of all kinds of students and professors and other sport coaches, and parents, of course. We get there, and I got there, and I think we were up, but it was kind of going back and forth a lot just because like it was supposed to be a really competitive game, and that was what I was used to seeing when I had watched the boys basketball team play. So I guess I was kind of used to it, and everybody else was kind of used to it, even though they were expected to be a really, really, really good team this year. Um, so it's going back and forth with this team, and we get to about halftime, and at halftime, like we were down six, which doesn't seem like it's not a lot in basketball, but it's also a noticeable lead. And me being a basketball player, I kind of know that coming in. So I'm like, okay, they got some work to do coming out at halftime. So they come back out at halftime and they're absolutely flat. Um, I knew it, the crowd knew it. Kind of everybody around was kind of just like, what happened? They were missing shots and absolutely getting demolished in the press. And like the press is like a basketball defense. For anybody that doesn't know, but they were absolutely getting demolished in their press, and the other team was getting easy layups, not in transition, but um, after like any North Park bucket, anytime they tried to press, it was terrible, and everybody's kind of looking around like, what's going on? Um, and I'm just like, I don't. This is crazy. I didn't come to watch my team get blew out, but I kind of stay and I watch some more, and we kind of fight a little bit to come back. Um, but we ultimately don't. But what I did see was, a lot of the North Park students staying and, watching to the end, even though we were losing pretty decently. Um, and that kind of just made me thinking about like, when we talk about like perspective in class, like you never know how it's gonna feel for like another person, or you might know how it's gonna feel for another person. You got to see it through somebody else's eyes. And I didn't really leave the game because I know last year or even sometimes this year when the football team got blown out, when we got blown out, it's always discouraging to see people walking away, people leaving, um, and that hurts. And I understand, in basketball, it's probably even worse just because you can put a name to a face. You don't have a helmet on. It's a lot more personal. There are a lot less people on the court, and you actually can clearly see, who's exactly leaving, when exactly they left. I feel like that's a lot easier in basketball. So I felt for them and I didn't leave the game because I felt like, not that I owed it to them, but it was the right thing to do. Um, and with that being said, like just perspective. Perspective is a huge thing, like for me specifically too, because I understand like a lot of people go through things. I know I go through things. And I would hope that people could understand me when I'm going through something just as much as I would try to understand them when they're going through something. But all in all, that was my first event, the basketball game. Now we're on to the second event, which was my favorite out of the three, a concert. So the concert I went to was the V's concert. He is a Detroit rapper, big but not too big. He's kind of usually described as like your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. That's like what his like stigma is. That's what he's known for. But he's my favorite artist right now. Love all of his music, his earlier stuff. I have some of his unreleased stuff. I'm a huge fan. I have been waiting on this concert for maybe a year and a half. I've been waiting on this concert. Um, and all my teammates listen to him. You know, well, not everybody I know listens to him, but a majority of the people I know listen to him. And he's one of their favorite artists just because he's so popular. Um, but I like his music, I like his style. You know, I like everything about him. Um, so when the chance came for me to get these tickets to this concert, I was like, it wasn't whether I was going or not. It was what level of concert ticket I should buy because they had a $30 ticket, a $50 ticket, a $100 ticket, and a $250 ticket. Now, at the time, um, I was in a financial position where I could afford a $250 concert ticket just because, um, I had saved up or whatever, because this was something I was really passionate about. So I texted my teammates like, hey, the concert's coming up, got to get tickets. Which tickets should we get? Assuming that they could, get that 250 ticket too. But even if they didn't want to, I was going to be okay with it and I would just get the regular ticket. Because the 250 ticket came with like a meet and greet, backstage access, early access to the concert in the venue, drinks, food, merchandise like t-shirts and stuff. I was all for it. But um they said, okay, we're gonna get tickets soon. I was like, well, hey guys, we got to get them quick because they're probably gonna sell out. So the tickets come out, and I don't get mine. Well, I don't get the because we ended up agreeing to get general admission if we did go, but that was kind of just something that was thrown out there. I think they kind of just threw that out there to shut me up. But I, they say we get general admission. They don't get it. I don't get it either. Concert sells out, so I go to buy the VIP ticket. And I don't know what ended up not making me buy it that day, but I ended up waiting and they ended up moving the concert to a different venue, a bigger venue. So they had more general admission tickets. So I said, hey guys, concert tickets just went back up, get one if you can. They don't get one. I get one. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm going to go by myself if I can't find anybody else to go with me. Sorry about that. My throats were kind of dry. Um, but I said, okay, screw it, going by myself. If I can find somebody, so be it. If not, it is what it is. Desperately try to find people. Nobody wants to go. So I said, okay, I'm just gonna go by myself. And you might think like going by yourself, like in a city you're unfamiliar with, because I'm relatively new to Chicago. Um, by myself, teenager, black, that's dangerous at nighttime. But I was really passionate. I really wanted to see this guy perform. So I then proceed to drive to the event. It's cold outside, but I proceed to drive to the event, park, walk up. I'm amped, but it's freezing. And I instantly regret not getting the VIP because I'm already going by myself. So I didn't need to, you know, decide based on what ticket choice they wanted. I could have bought a $250 ticket and got early access because the line was like 3 blocks. It was freezing cold. So we had to wait about an hour and a half outside. And I just talked to the people I stood with in line. Then it's time to go in. So I go in, and it's like it's immediately what I imagined. Cause what I imagined it as like kind of not my perfect atmosphere, but like just a great atmosphere for me to be in. Like a lot of just young, black kids, um, that kind of like the same things. I feel like the people that listen to his music is very motivating. So I feel like a lot of these people around me are like kind of similarly motivated, to get their lives started and, prepare themselves for later in life. And that's what I felt like I was surrounded with. So it was great. Like as soon as I walked in, I just kind of felt the atmosphere. Um, but I was also kind of worried because it is rap music, it is like, Detroit gangsters. Like there are a bunch of people probably in the venue with guns and stuff. I wasn't tripping. Um, and the little guy I ended up walking in with that was next to me in line, he wasn't tripping either. So we walk in, and instantly on the right there's the popcorn stand. On the left there's, or not a popcorn stand, it looked like a popcorn stand, but they had other things. And then there was a merchandise booth. I kind of glanced at the merchandise booth, kind of kept walking because I knew it was going to be super expensive. So we go into the concert venue, and it's this huge kind of theater like venue. And then there's a small stage at the front, and then there are like chairs at the back, and then there's a bunch of standing room. So I'm in the standing room, I walk all the way up to the front because there's not that many people in before me. Um, but I'm just standing there. We talk to the guy, people are in there smoking and getting drinks, and it's really chill. I was enjoying it. But he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go grab a drink. You stay or come with or whatever." I was like, "I'll come with, so I'll go over there." I didn't grab a drink, but I was like, "Hey, we should go look at the merchandise." He was like, "Okay, cool." And then we ended up waiting like 15 minutes in line. He was like, "Forget the drink. Let's just go look at it." So we go look at the merch. It's nice, not too nice, but very expensive. I mean, I guess I liked it. Don't get anything. So, and they didn't have a lot in my size too. It kind of sucks, like being a bigger guy. Like nowadays, I feel like a lot of clothes fit tighter, but that's besides the point. But we look at the merchandise booth, go back in the concert, and this girl is opening for V's. That's who the rapper we were going to see, and she's opening for him, and like people aren't really digging her music, but they're like, okay, whatever, because we know V's about to come out after you. So she performs. I believe she said she performed 16 songs, and like maybe she performed for like an hour, give or take. And there were three songs that were like, this was cool. But the rest kind of people were just like, we're ready to see V's play, or we're ready to see V's get off the stage. People were yelling at her. Then she was like, okay, thank you, bye. And she kind of just left. And then people were hype. Um, like people were ready, they're playing his music, you don't know what song he's coming out to. It's crazy. And it's his Chicago show. He has a lot of ties to Chicago artists. So we're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting. Then another artist comes out. Talibando, that's his name. I kind of listen to him too, not as much, but he comes out, does a couple songs. He's on a lot of B songs too. Then it just gets dark because he performed for like maybe 20 minutes by himself. Then they play this one song. There's him, there's Talibando V, and another famous rapper called Lucky. I listen to a lot of Lucky too, and Lucky's from Chicago, so I assumed he would come out too. But they start playing the song, and he's rapping it backstage, but he hasn't came out yet. Then he like jumps out, and everybody's like, recording, and it's crazy. Like people are pushing people over. I'm recording with my phone. We're swinging this way and this way, and it was just crazy. But it was just like it was perfect. It felt like I was surrounded by a lot of people that were similar to me, enjoying something that I like to enjoy, at peace. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't end up going with my teammates, because I feel like they might have ruined it for me. I might not have had as much fun if I would have went by myself. But anyway, he's performing, and everybody's like screaming and recording, and like people are passing out. It's crazy. It's a concert. But he performs for about, I'm gonna say, 2 hours. Then everything kind of calms down. Um, and I mean, when it calmed down, like everybody kind of, got chill. He kind of performed his like more chill songs, and then he kind of just took a picture with the crowd, said thank you, and left. Just kind of left everybody there. Um, but all in all, I mean, I enjoyed it. I ended up getting a piece of merchandise on the way out, like $100 jersey. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, even though I bought it, it was my choice. But I enjoyed it like a lot, and like I feel like something that we talked about this year was like being able to like enjoy yourself, or being able to like, I guess, govern yourself in order to be able to like better govern other people. And I feel like me not worrying about my teammates, or not even not worrying about my teammates, but like me just taking that like step. I don't want to say out of my comfort zone because I do stuff like that a lot, but like taking that step alone and just going out and having fun, like it just made me feel like me. Um, and I know like it's unfortunate, but sometimes I don't always feel like me. So that was just great to be able to, go out and use like something that I learned in class from connecting with all the people, all the great people we have in our class, and do that for myself. Um, like I know Anna was like super happy for me when I went, even though I went by myself. She's like, "Oh my God, you did it!" I was like, "Yeah," because she knows I don't go out a lot. But yeah, that was kind of what I learned from that. And for the final event, we're gonna talk about how I went to a goth club with technically my nephew. Give me a second. Sorry about that. So I was in Tampa, and my sister's partner has a son. His name is Jordan, and I guess technically he's my nephew. Um, but he's 27, so he's way older than me, 7 years. Um, and basically he's 27, but he acts like as if he's like 19, like 18. He's kind of very childish, kitty. But it was cool because I was able to relate to him, early, because like instantly I knew we were gonna click because I asked him, um, did he know about this like certain clothing brand? Because I have it tattooed on my calf, and he was like, "Bro, yeah, of course. I saw that. Like as soon as I saw you, I was like, oh, okay, cool." So, just kicking it with him, while I was in Tampa was cool. But he asked me, he was like, do you go out? Like, what do you do? Like, what do you like to do? I was like, I like to go out. I enjoy, going out sometimes, not a lot, but I enjoy it when I do go. He was like, okay, so we're gonna take you to this club called Castle. Now, I was kind of skeptical when they told me the club was called Castle. I was like, that sounds like weird, like medieval. So I didn't know what to think about it. But I agreed. I said, sure, I'll let y'all take me out, whatever. Now, my sister warned me. She was like, hey, it's a goth club. And I think like goth, I think like emo, like kids my age, wearing all black, dyeing their hair black, black makeup, nothing like too serious. Um, but she was like, nah, like you should look it up. Like it gets wicked. So I looked it up, and from all the reviews, basically what I like composed from the reviews, it said it wasn't too wild, but it was wild. I said, okay, this might be interesting. So they take me out, we go out instantly. Like as we walk in, it's cool if you're over 18. You just can't drink. So I'm not 21 yet, so I couldn't drink. So they put the big X's on my hand or whatever. And we go out, and while my cousin, or not my cousin, my nephew and his friends get drinks, I'm standing there waiting, and then we go upstairs and we go into this big room, and it's like dark, loud, like punk rock music, like grunge music blasting. Like there are people in here like all black, like piercing face tattoos all over the neck. And it was completely mind blowing. Like I had never been in this kind of environment before. Um, it honestly blew my mind. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to do. There was a girl in a cage dancing. There were people getting whipped. There were people in costumes. There were furries. It just it just completely instantly overwhelmed me. And I just had to kind of gather myself, think like, okay, I'm good. You know, I can be flexible in a situation like this. I'm fine. So I calmed down. And I'm still kind of, like enjoying it or whatever. You know, it's not really me, but this is the environment I'm in, so I have to adjust. So, I was then told by one of my, I guess, nephew's friends, him and his girlfriend had recently broke up. I was like, dang, I kind of felt bad for him because I knew like me and my girlfriend were going through some things at the time. Me and my ex girlfriend were going through some things at the time. So, you know, I want to be there for him. So like I'm encouraging him, like have fun. He's having fun. Like he wants to talk to girls. So I'm like encouraging that too. Um and unfortunately like he's shooting his shot and he's missing. But I'm keeping him like positive, like, yeah, you're a great guy. And he was like, thanks, like, really appreciate you being there for me. Like I don't know what I would have did if you weren't, or like if you hadn't encouraged me, like go talk to those girls. It's like, yeah, of course, don't worry about it, we're fam. But still, like back to me being mind blown. I guess like after I kind of adjusted, like nothing really surprised me after that initial shock, because it was like, okay, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen, and it probably won't get crazier than that, which it did, but it kind of wasn't. The jump wasn't as far. So we're having fun in the club. We stay out till like 4 a.m. and eventually, like I'm cool with the whole goth thing. Like it's cool. I guess it's kind of eye opening. Um, but my whole thing was like how I was gonna tie it in to like our class, just like being there for like another person no matter what. I know that kind of has something to do with like perspective too, but my whole thing was like I guess this guy was like my family, and I felt like it was my not my job, but I felt like it was my responsibility to make sure like he was okay, he was feeling good. Because I know I had a good time. I appreciate that he brought me out. Even though he had just broken up with his girlfriend, I know if I just broke up with my girlfriend, I wouldn't want to go out. But just me being there for him, and I guess him being there for me, like wanting to keep me entertained while I was in a city that I was unfamiliar with, and I just appreciated that a lot, and felt like that's kind of how our class is. We all kind of look out for one another, especially like when it comes to like projects and like other things, but even things like outside of the classroom, like just everyday life. I feel like our class kind of looks out for each other very well. So that was my third one. And basically like what I learned from like the class this year, or I guess this project in the class, like just getting out, 'cause I don't get out a lot, but getting out and really trying to get in touch with your surroundings can be very hard sometimes, especially when you're in environments that you're not used to. Like I know that golf club thing was crazy. But all in all, like it took me a while to understand it while I was out, but once I got the vibe and once I like really dialed in, like it was great, it was fun. Like I enjoyed it. Um and then like how I would I guess describe like my favorite like thing, like lesson, like I guess I've learned from the class. Um Let me see. I don't know how I could like put it into words. like learning to like work as a unit. I haven't been this productive ever. Well, I won't say ever, but like I'm not a very productive student. I mean, I guess I have good grade or I had good grades, but like this class just allowed me to like, really learn how to communicate, and then like also I guess that all falls also falls under communicate, like relaying information and taking the information that I get and like analyzing like what I need to do, when I need to do it, things like that. Like I felt like that was just a really, really helpful lesson that I'll continue to use, forever. So, that's it. Thank you.